Last night, Joe Biden gave his annual State of the Union address, a tradition for presidents for the past 2 centuries, and it was quite the interesting and eventful speech that many times was drowned out by Republicans heckling and shouting things at him as he went over key controversial issues that the parties mainly disagree on. So we're just going to look at five of the main points that Bloomberg did a good job of breaking down. Um, this speech comes in the context of Joe Biden possibly announcing a re-election campaign for 2024 soon. That's still to be determined, and although he, although the White House has said that he quote intends to run, we're still waiting on that actual announcement. Democrats are still pretty divided on whether they actually want to see him running in. So going to the takeaways, as I mentioned before, uh, verbal fight that went on at multiple points. First, when Joe Biden said that some Republicans are calling to cut Social Security and Medicare and lower the budget for those, and that was met with boos and lie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, as you can see in this picture, wearing some type of big puffy white coat, yelling out liar and other people booing. Marjorie Taylor Greene was also seen walking around the Capitol with a white balloon, signifying some sort of protest and disapproval of the way that Joe Biden handled the Chinese spy balloon, and as a larger thing, a protest of Joe Biden being, in her view, not tough enough on China. And speaking of China, that's the second main point that we're getting paywalled here um in this article. But the second main point that happened in the speech was China. Joe Biden was very tough on China, not really directly referring to the spy balloon, but but talking about how how the U.S. was competing with China at a global stage, and how he is promoting competition and not conflict, and this obviously comes under the context of the Chinese spy balloon that I previously mentioned, but tensions between the two countries at a high point now as China got very angry at our response to their spy balloon. Also talking about was Joe Biden on immigration, and that was the other main point that Republicans voiced their disapproval of, and blame, and multiple people were shouting out that it was quote Joe Biden's fault that for fentanyl coming into the country and all the increased migrants that have been caught by the Border Patrol. And that was something that Joe Biden didn't touch on for a lot of time, but that got a lot of interaction with and engagement with the Republican base side of the aisle. Then Joe Biden talking about energy, conceding that the U.S. still needs to rely on oil for at least another decade, while still reiterating his commitment to transitioning to renewable energy, then the jobs and electric vehicles and all sorts of things related to renewable energy, which some Republicans also voiced their disapproval for that. And then just overall, the speech was really just a summary of all the accomplishments that Joe Biden had and some of his goals for the future, as we typically see for the State of the Union. This wasn't a very abnormal State of the Union, besides the confrontal elements when uh, Republicans started to interject in at some points. Joe Biden seemed to be directly responding to them, but it's just perpetually interesting to see the clapping debate that goes on, especially on the other side of the aisle. It, it was pretty interesting to watch when Republicans would stand up and clap or sit down and clap, just not clap at all, depending on what Joe Biden was talking about. And that being obviously a symbol of whether they approve or disapprove or of what Joe Biden was talking about. So that's always perpetually something that political analysts and just normal viewers look for as a element of the State of the Union. But another State of the Union in the books, and we'll get another one from Joe Biden next year. And now we're going to talk about the Republican response from Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.